Well, it's been a very slow roll since I last posted my video on the Road to Diamond run where we blitzed back up into Diamond 3. I haven't really played much of the ranked ladder because I've been focused on the World Championship qualifier, but as you can see here, I'll show you my whole match history. We only have 5 losses in the past 20 matches and 15 wins, but yeah, after blitzing back up into D3, we lost our first match. I think this person resolved grass against me or something, and then I just like scooped because they had like 7 chain links and I was not going to sit there for 20 minutes letting them set up a board. And then I think this guy, I went first and I set up a board, he scooped this guy, I shifted mid combo and he scooped. And then this one, I don't even remember, but whatever. And then these two I'll post for you because these were somewhat interesting. So not too many interesting matches overall, just because we did get through D3 quite quickly. And, hopefully this is a good thing. Hopefully this means, my next match, if I do lose it, maybe I can just go on another 5-win streak and hit D1. I don't know. Stay tuned. Of course, we're using FLOOWANDEREEZE. Deck list is in the description, the deck list video that is. So make sure you check that out. But let's go ahead and take a look at some of these matches. And yes, make sure you stay tuned if you want to see if we can hit D1 before the end of the season. Alright, so we're going to start things off with our rank up game to get into Diamond 2, and I'm just hoping to win the coin toss and go first, but no, we lose the coin toss. And this opening hand is pretty good, especially now that we know that the opponent's on Tearlaments, summoning a Rhino, dumping a Havness, returning Havness from hand and from grave to get into Kit Kalos. I consider any hand that doesn't brick with FLOOWANDEREEZE a good hand. Obviously there's varying like a scale of what's really good versus what's just like decent and playable. But the fact that we have D-Fissure and Gold Sark means that we can set up quite a good board against, now that we know the opponent's on Tearlaments, against this deck. Regardless, though, the opponent is going for the classic Kit Kalos, search Merly, send Kit Kalos, summon Merly. So off the mill 5, we just have to hope they don't get a Kelbeck or a Yugioh. So they do get Crime, which is actually good for me because that means, Crime won't negate the Fissure, or if we Pot of Prosperity into an evenly matched, they've already milled their Crime. Very unlikely they play 2. Rhino, which can trigger if they have another Tearlament card in hand to discard. And then in Mudora, Grave Shuffler, they reveal that they are on the Gravekeeper's Trap as well. The Merly Mill 3 gets a Scream, which is going to search on the Sullic, or a Crime if they play 2, but very unlikely, so most likely a Sullic. A Rhino Heart if they want to dump a Tearlaments card, and then the other Grave Shuffler. So they have 2 Grave Interruptions, and at least, no Kelbeck or a Yugioh, so we'll take that, I guess. So the opponent does opt to activate the Rhino and the Scream. So Rhino is going to get summoned, and oh man, that sucks. They pitched Heartbeat, which means that they're going to start a new chain link and get Crime back to hand. So Scream grabs Sullic, and this is actually a really strong end board for the opponent, because, well, it may not look strong, but against me, being FLOOWANDEREEZE, they have an Omni Negate, and they have a, Monster Negate, right? So they're going to link off into Sprite Elf, and that's going to ensure that they can bring back Merly during their turn for a mill 3, and potentially Fuse during my turn, and they didn't hit any Kelbeck Yugioh or any other fusion name. So if they bring back this Merly, there's a pretty high chance that they're going to mill a Kelbeck Yugioh or a fusion name. So that's a problem. If you watch my previous video, I explained why I might want to start with D-Fissure. We do top deck and evenly matched, but again, we know they have Crime. So either this D-Fissure is going to bait out the Crime, which I think is what the opponent should have done, because what are they going to do? If they let this resolve, they can't bring back Merly, right? So I'm like, they have to negate this. And then I can hope that, whatever combos they end up going into off of the Merly, the mill 10 or whatever, if they get Kelbeck and a Yugioh or any other fusion names, I can hopefully just go Battle Phase evenly match and put them on 1 card, right? So the opponent opts to let this resolve because they chain Max C. And so, now they can't negate with Crime because it's no longer on the chain to negate. So they rather activate Max C, probably thinking we're on Exo Sister, and that allows us to resolve the D-Fissure. So this is actually not the greatest because now we can't evenly match. So we have to continue trying to play from here, and we know we have to play through a Sullic. But if the opponent attempts to Sullic, whatever they send will get banished, if they can even send off with D-Fissure on the field, because it doesn't get sent to graveyard, it will get banished, right? But the Pot of Prosperity actually reveals some really interesting cards for us, and we got Map, we got Advent, we got Empin, we got Dreaming Town. We probably take Map here, and we extend further with Gold Sark, and we already have the Unexplored Wind, so we can technically play through 1 interruption, and I think the opponent didn't even know that I had a bird in hand, but I think once they saw, like, oh, the D-Fissure's up, they got Map, they probably have a bird, and he just ended up scooping, I guess. So we'll take those. Could have made me potentially try to push through your board, but yeah, I don't think it would have been very hard to do that. So GG's, on to the next one. Alright, this was the second last match that I was playing in Diamond 3, so I was on like a 3-win streak, and this was my 4th match. Going first, our opening hand is actually insane because we've got the Map, the Eaglin, and an Advent of Adventure to dodge a potential Imperm. So we're just going to go like full combo, We have all 4 birds in rotation as well. And off of the M pin, once I see that the opponent has no imperm, I'm just going to go ahead and trigger the Advent of Adventure and grab the Unexplored Wind. So now we have all power spells in play. We've got a banished M pin that we can recur back with Toucan, and we've got an M pin in hand that we can use to tribute off the opponent's cards with the Unexplored Wind. So, you know, during the opponent's turn, off of map, either when the opponent normal summons or off of us activating Dreaming Town, we'll be able to do a lot. We bring the second Dreaming Town to hand so the opponent, you know, wouldn't guess that we're on a Dreaming Town already, and we put back Stree and drop Pot of Prosperity, which is really good. We were hoping to maybe draw into like a Shifter or a Dimensional Fissure, since you can see here that we have nothing in graveyard. The opponent is on a Ishizu here, but when they mill off of the discard from Kelbeck, they're on some interesting rogue deck, so not a Ishizu Tearlaments, and they're going to go ahead and attempt to normal summon Mudora. So this is a rank 4 play, right? You should instantly recognize that, and you know, regardless, we are triggering the Magnificent Map. But if the opponent did special summon and didn't trigger map as soon as they put another level 4 on board, I'm going to activate Dreaming Town anyways, because I want to keep them off of a Baguska play. So I think once they realize, like, oh, he's got full rotation, he's got Unexplored Wings, he's got Apex, Omni Negate, it's just not playing because he used a special summon, he used a normal summon. I don't think they can extend any further. Plus, yeah, they know we have Dreaming Town, so it's a GG from there. Alright, got a bonus match for you here. This was earlier on in Diamond, but we have a pretty decent opening hand once again, Robina and D-Fissure, as well as Trap, which means that off M-Pin we could have searched another power spell like the map or the Unexplored Winds, but the opponent is going first, and unfortunately we are going second. At least we do have the evenly matched. No Shifter though, but that's okay. The opponent starts pretty strong with a normal summon Rhino, and then dumping a, I believe it was a Havness there, and going into Kekalo, searching Merly, and now they're doing the mill 8. So let's see what the opponent grabs here. Off of this, hopefully no Kelbeck or a Yugioh. Okay, let's see. Oh, they get Kelbeck, they get Heartbeat, that's unusable. But they get Kelbeck and a Yugioh and Squamata to dump Beast to draw one most likely. So that's not great for us. At least, you know, they didn't mill any names yet. So mill 5 more, they get the Sharon, and they get Crime, which is not usable because they have nothing banished. They get double Sharon, and they get the other Kelbeck, Yugioh, and Havness, which they've already used the fusion for, and another Heartbeat. This guy plays 2 Heartbeat. Are you kidding me? Who plays 2 Heartbeat? So now that Crime is going to go back to their hand, and that puts our evenly match offline, unfortunately. So that's not great. And then, oh, I guess we should check what we milled, because we milled 10 as well. This is not good. We milled M-Pin, Apex, and Ryza. What does this mean? It means that they mill 3 out of our 4 searchable targets by Eaglin. So that's not good. They mill 1 of the Trap, we've got the other one in hand. They milled our Gold Sark, our Book of Moon, and Robina. That's fine because we already have one, or 1 of DD Crow, and 1 of our 2 Toucan. So overall, not too bad, aside from the fact that they milled all of our Eaglin targets and our Tribute monsters. So that's really bad. And of course, there's virtually nothing we can do, I guess, because, yeah, the Rise is gone, so we can't even shuffle them back into the deck. All we can do is try to target one with a Stree, and the opponent doesn't have any Grave Shufflers right now, so we could banish one with Stree and bring back, well, the only one is in the M-Pin. So the opponent's now going to trigger their effects. They get Scream as well, so they're going to get Sullick and Crime back to hand. Sullick off Scream, and the Crime off of the Heartbeat, so Heartbeat resolves, getting Crime back to hand. That's the card that, unfortunately, I have to, you know, I really don't like Tearlaments having access to. They grab Sullick, of course. That's also a card that beats FLOOWANDEREEZE quite hard. The Sharon Fusion will likely go into either Dragostapelia or the Rukalos. So oddly enough, I mean, he knows I'm on FLOOWANDEREEZE. Maybe he didn't check my graveyard, but he opts to go for Rukalos anyways. And then they said 4 back rows. So this is very intimidating for FLOOWANDEREEZE. We do struggle against back row decks. So, you know, we know one of them is Sullick, one of them is Crime, and how we play around this is like really, really tough. So I draw Map, which is really good. And I'm going to try to attempt to bait out the Crime. That's all I can do. So activate Fissure and hope that they Crime it, and they do indeed Crime it. That's really good for me. That's going to send a monster from their hand to the graveyard and shuffle the Fissure back into my deck. They get the Rhino sent, which is going to trigger now, which, you know, they're just going to get more and more off it. So they send Sullick, which is insane. Now they're going to search for probably a Havness or a Sharon to follow up next turn. Yep, they search for Sharon. And then the Rhino is going to be able to dump. They dump Havness, and then Havness is going to trigger and probably bring out Dragostapelia. That's probably why the opponent opted to just wait. They knew they were going to bring this out anyway. So with the Crime used, they can only activate 1 per turn anyway. So we're now going to say that's great, evenly matched, and then the opponent scoops it up. They were going to, this evenly was going to go what, like 5, like not even, like 7 for 1. And then of course main phase 2 we play with Map. and we search Unexplored Winds since we already have Dreaming Town. So despite losing all those resources, we were in good shape to follow up, because remember, all those cards the opponent's going to lose is going to get banished face down, and if they kept the Dragos Tapalia, we had the Book of Moon for it anyways, so it ended up working out for us. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed, and make sure you check out the channel for more Master Duel gameplay. And again, thank you for watching. Quantum is out.